not every truck hits the mark, and 2025 proved that in a big way. While some pickups flew off the dealer lots and racked up wait lists, others stalled out with weak demand, missed expectations, or just plain confused buyers. Today, we're going to look at 15 of the worst-selling pickup trucks in 2025. Let's get started. The Ford Ranger has had a rough ride in 2025. One of Ford's most promising midsize pickups, the Ranger has been slipping in popularity, and fast. Just a couple years ago, it was moving close to 57,000 units a year, but in 2024, that number dropped to just over 20,000, and 2025 hasn't done it any favors either. So, what happened? Well, part of it comes down to timing. Ford did launch a new generation of the Ranger, but it came at a time when competition in the midsize segment was already heating up. Unfortunately, the Ranger couldn't compete in this new market, which led to its downfall. This one hurts because Chevrolet tried. They really did. The 2025 Chevy Colorado got a sleek redesign, improved interior tech, and even some off-road trims that looked great on paper. But sales tell a different story. Back in 2022, the Colorado sold over 89,000 units. Fast forward to 2024, and they couldn't even make half that number in sales. This year, things are even worse as dealerships are having a harder time selling the truck. So, what's behind the slide? Well, a lot of it has to do with how crowded the midsize pickup segment has become. There are too many options, and let's just say the Colorado has nothing special to make it stand out. When the Jeep Gladiator launched, it made waves. People were excited to see a pickup that looked like a Wrangler. It was different, and for a while, that helped it stand out. But in 2025, the novelty has worn off, and the sales have followed suit. To put it in perspective, the Gladiator sold over 77,000 units in 2022. By the end of last year, it was barely cracking 23,000. As of now, dealerships are reporting even lower sales. The problem? It's a niche vehicle in a market that's growing more practical. Most people buying trucks these days are either using them for work, family hauling, or both. The Gladiator doesn't feel like something practical, so no one really wants it. The Santa Cruz had all the markings of something cool. Part SUV, part truck, wrapped in a sleek, modern design. It was Hyundai's answer to people who wanted a truck bed but didn't need the full truck experience. And when it launched, it actually generated a lot of buzz. But fast forward to 2025, and the shine's wearing off. One big issue is identity. A lot of people still don't know what the Santa Cruz is. Is it a truck? A crossover? A lifestyle vehicle? It sits in this weird gray area that turns off traditional truck buyers and doesn't quite win over SUV fans either. It's simply just mid for most people. Nissan finally gave the Frontier a much-needed redesign just a couple years back, after more than a decade of keeping the old version around. When the new model dropped, people were hopeful. It looked tough, had a beefy V6 engine standard, and even the base models came with solid features. But for some reason, it just hasn't clicked. In 2025, Frontier sales have slipped again, hovering well below expectations. One issue is that while it looks new on the outside, under the skin, it's still using an older platform. So while competitors are pushing more advanced features, the Frontier feels stuck. As a result, many people don't feel the need to buy one. The GMC Canyon is often described as the more upscale twin of the Chevy Colorado, and that's part of the problem. While the Canyon shares much of its DNA with the Colorado, it comes with a slightly higher price tag, especially when you start climbing the trim ladder. In theory, the Canyon should be appealing to people who want a mid-sized truck with a touch of luxury. But the truth is, buyers looking for a premium experience are often just skipping the mid-size market altogether and going for full-size options, like the Sierra, Ram 1500, or even an F-150 Lariat. That puts the Canyon in a tight spot. Too expensive for value-focused buyers and not premium enough to justify its top trims. The Honda Ridgeline has always been the oddball of the truck world, and in 2025, it's really starting to show its age. Sales have taken another dip this year, and a lot of that comes down to the fact that it's still riding the same basic platform as a Pilot SUV, which means truck buyers just aren't biting. Now, to be fair, the Ridgeline is one of the most comfortable pickups you can drive. It's smooth, it handles like a crossover, and has clever features like that in-bed trunk. But traditional truck buyers want capability and toughness, not car-like vibes. Honda missed the mark, and the result is the current sales dip. This one might surprise some people because the Rivian R1T was supposed to be the truck of the future. All electric, sleek, packed with futuristic features, it was the EV pickup everyone was talking about. But reality is setting in, and the R1T is slipping down the charts in terms of sales. The biggest challenge? Price and practicality. Starting around $70,000, the R1T is firmly in luxury territory. And with rising interest rates and buyers being more cautious, that kind of sticker shock has been a real deal breaker. On top of that, it's still a relatively unproven brand, and not everyone's ready to trust their first electric truck purchase to a startup, even one backed by Amazon. Even the mighty Tundra is feeling the pinch in 2025, and after its recent redesign, Toyota had big hopes for its full-size truck. It got a twin-turbo V6, a hybrid option, and a much-needed tech upgrade. But despite all that, sales just haven't taken off the way Toyota expected. Part of the issue is brand perception. While Toyota absolutely owns the midsize segment with the Tacoma, the Tundra has always played catch-up to the F-150, Silverado, and Ram 1500. And in 2025, that gap hasn't really closed. Buyers who want a full-size truck often gravitate toward those three brands because of their towing capabilities, broader configurations, and, honestly, loyalty. Toyota just hasn't cracked that full-size market. When it launched, the F-150 Lightning was hyped as the truck that would change everything. A fully electric version of the best-selling pickup in America that sounded like a home run, and for a while, it was. Early demand was through the roof, but fast forward to 2025, and the momentum has cooled a lot. The biggest issue is the same one plaguing a lot of EVs right now. Cost. Even with tax incentives, the Lightning's price tag is steep, especially once you start climbing into higher trims or extended range models. And in a tough economy, buyers are a lot less willing to shell out over $60,000 for a truck, especially when a gas-powered F-150 still gets the job done for a lot less. The Ram 1500 Classic is a bit of a strange case. It's basically the older generation Ram that Stellantis kept selling alongside the newer model as a budget-friendly alternative. And for a while, it worked. Buyers love the idea of a full-size truck with a lower price point and fewer frills. But in 2025, it's overstayed its welcome. The competition has moved on. Trucks now come loaded with tech, efficiency improvements, and hybrid options. Meanwhile, the 1500 Classic is still rocking an interior that feels stuck in 2015. No modern infotainment system, no cutting-edge safety features, no hybrid options. It's basic, and not in a charming way. Lordstown Endurance was a long shot from the beginning. A startup truck company based out of Ohio, targeting the commercial fleet market with an all-electric pickup. Ambitious, yes, but execution? That's where things fell apart. The Endurance had a rocky start with delays, leadership shakeups, production problems, and limited range. All the warning signs of a shaky launch. And in 2025, it's clear that the truck never really got off the ground. Sales are painfully low, with many buyers opting for more established alternatives like the F-150 Lightning or even Rivian's R1T, despite their own issues. The Cybertruck hype was off the charts. Years of anticipation, flashy demos, and Elon-level promises had everyone thinking the Cybertruck was going to flip the truck world upside down. But here we are in 2025. And while the Cybertruck did finally hit the streets, the buzz didn't translate into strong sales. And now it's landed in the bottom three. The biggest issue? Reality didn't match the fantasy. Production delays, constant design changes, and poor build quality made the whole thing a mess. And while the truck looks wild, that polarizing design pushed away more buyers than it attracted. It's basically too weird for the current market. The Ford Maverick initially started strong. When it debuted, it was hailed as the perfect small truck, affordable, fuel efficient, and practical. But that momentum is starting to disappear. Part of the problem is supply. Ford just hasn't been able to keep up with the demand. Or worse, they've stopped pushing it. With more focus going towards EVs in their full-size lineup, the Maverick feels like it got sidelined. Then there's the price creep. What was once a sub-$20K entry-level truck is now pushing well into the $30K range for the hybrid and AWD trims. That wipes out the original appeal. Sure, it still has fans, but not as much as it did before. The least-selling truck on this list is the Silverado EV. On paper, this thing should have been a hit. It got GM's Ultium platform, insane horsepower, big range numbers, and a respected nameplate. But somewhere between the drawing board and the dealership floor, it all fell apart. The first big issue? Confusion. There were so many trims, configurations, delays, and pricing shifts that buyers didn't know what they were getting or when. Chevy hyped it with specs that rivaled a super truck, but when it finally hit the market, availability was limited, prices were high, and the real-world performance didn't blow anyone away. It was just basic and had nothing really unique to offer. Don't stop following us. Hit the like button and make sure you subscribe to the channel for more of our videos. See you in the next video.